Hey, I'm Joel with Power Stance Import Export, and thanks for checking this video out. It is for an eBay listing, but if you happen to stumble across it through a random YouTube search or suggestion and have any questions about these vehicles, don't hesitate to give us a call at the number listed above. Speak to me directly, or you can find us online, Facebook, Instagram, or this YouTube channel, or even the eBay store at Power Stance Import Export. We scan the globe for Land Rover Defenders, even places like Germany. So if you've ever wanted a Land Rover Defender, check us out, and thanks for watching the video. Folks, and up for sale today I've got a beautiful 1994 Land Rover Defender 90 with the 200 TDI in Nardo gray. This is a right-hand drive UK import. It has been legally imported. It's now located here in Michigan and it comes with a clean, clear Michigan title. So let me walk you around the vehicle. I'll show you the inside, the outside, the underside, and we'll take it for a test ride. Now, some of the notoriously rusty areas that I've discussed in other videos on the Defender are the bulkhead, the front outriggers, the door bottoms, and the rear cross member. All right, so this vehicle is in excellent condition in all of those areas. This is a replacement galvanized bulkhead, so that is not going to rust on you. Unfortunately, it has been painted with a roller, so there is a little bit of texture in the bulkhead, and that's the only section of the vehicle that was painted that way. The rest of it is nice and glossy, painted with a professional air gun. The front outriggers are in great shape as well. As you can see, no rust, no repairs, no welds. And there's the bottom of your footwells also. That's part of the bulkhead, so those are galvanized as well. And the door bottoms, great shape. A little bit of a paint chip there, but the skins are in fantastic shape. These are replacement doors, so they have not been welded on, they have not been repaired. They're just in good new condition. And the rear cross member, fantastic shape. As you can see, no rust, no welds or repairs, and the chassis is in gorgeous shape. We'll get underneath the vehicle later, but I'll give you a little sneak peek here. As you can see, nice fresh coating of wax oil, and I don't see any dirt or sand stuck to the chassis, so that means this vehicle probably was not off-roaded since the wax oil was applied, which is good. Now up front here, we'll start off with the engine. This is the 200 TDI 2.5 liter turbo diesel, and I have not detailed or power washed this engine. As you can see, no leaking out of the valve covers, no leaking out of the return lines. The fuel lines are a little rusty, but they are not leaking, and fortunately those can be easily and cheaply replaced and quickly, so not a problem. As you can see, the footwells galvanized, beautiful shape, all sorts of new hardware there. Brake booster is new. Hoses, clamps all look good. Stainless steel hose clamps. I see a new gasket there, so thermostat's new. Water pump looks to have been replaced as well. A little bit of a whoops-a-daisy here on the fan shroud. A little bit of a field fix here. But fortunately, no clearance issues with the fan, so that's in working order. Radiator looks good. In the front here, we've got a nice set of military style signals and the trim ring around the light. So this could have been a government issue vehicle at one point, or somebody decided they just liked the military style signals and installed them. So hard to say. We got a beautiful aftermarket front bumper and a real beefy skid plate up front. Jack points on the chassis here, real beefy tow hooks. So super solid front end here. Hit some mailboxes with that thing or something, you'll be good. All right, as you can see, there's a little bit of paint showing from the original color, which looks to have been yellow. So paint job isn't perfect. There's a few chips and cracks here and there. A little bit of scratching from off-road use, but all in all, pretty decent shape. And again, this is Nardo gray, super glossy on the doors, on the front quarters. But not perfect. There's a little bit of chipping along the windscreen seal. Windscreen's in great shape though. Guess it's starting to hail a little bit. We'll see if we can get through this. Tires, great shape. These are Maxxis worm drive and beautiful shape. About 90% tread left on here. Beautiful tread. These are Discovery aluminum wheels that have been painted black, and I think they look great as is. And again, there's a look at the front chassis. Beautiful shape. New springs and shocks up front. Front outriggers are great. We got a nice set of rock sliders as well with a center jack point, so you can pick up the side of the vehicle as well as the front and the rear. So all sorts of ways to lift this vehicle up, which is cool. Here's your passenger door. Beautiful shape. And the skins as well. No corrosion there. We'll take a look on the interior. Dashboard is all standard. Aftermarket JVC CD radio. And this lockbox is super sturdy. I would not be afraid to put my gun in here or my money or anything valuable. This is super sturdy and it's not going anywhere. Aftermarket seat covers, Exmoor trim. Nice set of carpet on the seat boxes. Unfortunately, I believe we were robbed of our floor mats on the journey over here. So whoever took those, stop doing that. We're getting real tired of it. Capping's in great shape. Rear sliding windows are in good shape as well. The roof is now gloss black. It used to be Alpine white. You can see a little bit of chipping there in the paint, but pretty decent shape other than that. Capping's good, corner's good. We do have these corner protectors. These are aftermarket. Great shape. Again, there's the back side of the bulkhead. Beautiful shape. This is where they normally get rusty, right there. And as you can see, perfect shape. Now this rear door does have a little bit of rust on the bottom, but it is in working order. And the skin on the back side, not bad at all. I don't see any corrosion on the door skin. So this, you know, could be replaced pretty reasonably. Actually, these rear doors are not that expensive, but as is, it's a working door. It doesn't look too bad. New set of carpet in the rear, and we got a set of bench seats. And as you can see, we've had the center bulkhead delete. This gives the front seats a little bit more room to lean back for the taller driver and passenger. Headliner. This is like indoor-outdoor carpet, basically. And it's not stock or factory, but it does look good and it's functional. So that is in decent shape. Moving along here, we do have a full-size spare tire as well with matching wheel. And this is the hanging tire carrier, so it doesn't put the weight on the door, which is nice. Adjustable hitch and a step there. And we do have the military style signals in the back as well. Corners all in great shape. All right, so let's go ahead and fire it up. We do have 142 miles on the clock, 142,000. Now the glow plug light is not coming on, but they are working, so I'm guessing the bulb is burnt out. So it does fire up. Let's see if we can get that battery light off. Yep, battery light comes off. 142,000 miles, fuel gauge, temperature gauge working. And the engine's running nice and smooth. Very little vibration. Sounds amazing. All right, let's take a look underneath. Okay, it is nice that you do have this hitch, but if you're gonna be off-roading, you might wanna remove this. There's hardly any ground clearance here. That's about maybe 10 inches there between the ground and the bottom of the hitch. So you're gonna get hung up there. Otherwise, it's great for farm use and you can tow stuff with it. Now there's the bottom of the chassis rails, all in fantastic shape. Tow hooks here as well, which are kind of nice. Muffler looks good. See a new set of calipers. The dust covers are missing, but those can easily be replaced. New set of springs as well. Shocks look new as well. A-frame ball joint looks good. I don't see anything leaking out of the fill plug. And same deal on the driver's side. New calipers, new springs and shocks. Beautiful chassis. Okay, here we are on the driver's side. There's a good look at the new shocks. Bottom of the chassis. Looks great. I see some some extra welding here on the rear radius arms just to give it a little bit more protection from rocks, which is nice. There's the back side of the rear axle. I don't see anything leaking out of the pinion seal. That looks good. Universal joints look pretty clean, actually. There's the rear drive shaft. Transfer case looks pretty dry. That's awesome. And then there's your gearbox. Looks like the muffler has been replaced recently, and that's in great shape as well. Okay, here we are on the passenger side. There's a good look at the front axle. There's the bottom of the motor. Looks super dry. I don't see any leaking oil, which is nice. And again, there's your bell housing, gearbox, transfer case. That transfer case looks amazing. I don't see anything leaking out of there. I see some new flanges. So this gearbox looks to have been rebuilt, or transfer case. So that's in great shape. There's your prop shaft, rear axle, and chassis. Great shape. All right, and it keeps getting better here. Those are some gorgeous looking swivel seals. I don't see anything dripping out of there. New shocks and springs up front as well. Front radius arm bushings look good. No dripping out of the fill plug. And there's the front of the motor. You can actually see a little bit of surface rust on the bolts, which means this engine has not been leaking oil at all, which is fantastic. Shocks and springs on the passenger side. Passenger side swivels look amazing as well. So super clean under here. Very, very dry. I don't see anything leaking out of the transfer case or the motor or the pinions. Looks great. All right, folks, so if you stuck with me this far, either you're family or friend, or you're interested in this vehicle. So let me try and sell you why I think you should buy this vehicle, all right? It's one of my most reasonably priced Defenders because it's not a show pony, all right? But it's definitely not lipstick on a pig. This is more like a horse with no makeup at all. The hair's not done, the nail's not done. It's just a beast. It's a workhorse, all right? One of those like barrel racing horses. Not an English horse that jumps with a weird saddle, but like a real horse, all right? So, also, bulkhead, galvanized, doors, brand new, chassis, beautiful, rear cross member, gorgeous, outriggers, great, paint, not so great, but that means you can take it off-road, all right? And you won't worry about scratching it up. It does have its little quirks, like something used to go here, but there's nothing here now. These switches are hooked to nothing, but they're accessory switches. You can add them later. There's like no ashtray here. It's got a homemade headliner. So it's not a perfect truck at all, but it's a great, solid Defender, ready for off-roading, and all the rust issues that normally Defenders have been remedied. All right, so this thing is solid. Great running 200 TDI. The center diff has almost certainly been rebuilt just from looking at it, I can tell. And the way it feels and sounds, I don't hear any whining, I don't hear any clunking. All the gear changes are nice and solid. I just dropped the clutch there and absolutely no noise coming out of the universal joints or the rear ball joint. So gearbox is solid, transfer case is solid, engine runs great, and if you saw from earlier in the video, no leaking coming out of the engine, no leaking coming out of the transfer case. So super solid Defender with really, in my opinion, the only flaw being that it's got some blemishes on the outside paint. But that's it. It's got decent miles, 142,000 miles. And the engine, it looks super clean. All right, so let's go ahead and downshift into third gear here and accelerate uphill. Nice amount of low end torque in the 200 TDI. So let's go ahead and accelerate through third gear. And fourth gear. And fifth gear. There is somebody in front of me 40, otherwise I'd be doing like 55 miles an hour. But we're doing 40 right now. Not too bad. We just went over a good amount of potholes there and it soaked it up just like a sponge. All right, so I'm gonna get on the brakes here. Okay, so absolutely no pulling to the left or right. You didn't see any shaking at all on the steering wheel. So brakes are super solid. All right, let's throw it in reverse. Okay, so reverse gear works perfectly. All right, let's go through the gears one more time. Let's give it a little beans. Okay. There's third gear, 35 miles an hour. Fourth gear. And fifth gear. So it's relatively quiet in here. There's no soundproofing on the floor or the tunnel or anything like that, so you could spend a few bucks on some insulation in here and it would quiet it down a little bit. But all in all, great vehicle, runs and drives spot on, doesn't leak, and drives amazing. All right, thanks for watching.